Today's video, we're going to talk about dynamic keyword insertion on landing pages and how much profit does it actually net using a dynamically generated or swapping headline on your landing pages that you're driving from your Google ads or whatever campaigns that you're driving traffic to your landing pages. For the most part, we're talking about Google search ads and Bing/Microsoft search ads. Okay, so this is actually, instead of just basic information like you're going to see on other channels, this is a case study where I'm going to physically show you how much more money you could be making using dynamic keyword insertion over at least manual headlines. Typically, the general rule of thumb is you're going to get a 40% increase in conversion rate on your traffic simply by swapping the headline and having the headline match the user's keyword. Okay, that said, you're only going to get some of that through using dynamic keyword insertion because it's sloppy for the most part. Anything you use AI for in your marketing and advertising is going to be sloppy or more sloppy than an actual trained expert advertiser making something deliberately and specifically for the user and on a user by user level. The short of it is, yes, you can make more money using dynamic keyword insertion, such as if you use Unbounce, a landing page software, the #1 landing page software has a part of their software. You could dynamically insert the keyword into the headline on your landing pages. What I'm going to explain to you here is that you don't want to do this. And even though you can get a 20% increase in conversion rate by having dynamic keyword insertion, you can double that at least by handwriting the headlines on the landing pages. Generally speaking, 20%, by the way, is a little bit hopeful. You're going to probably be around 10 to 20% in terms of dynamic keyword insertion, in terms of the increase in conversion rates it's going to get you. And with that, manually writing the headline, you'll be able to get on top of that 2 to 3 times the percentage increase gain. So whereas a dynamic keyword insertion will increase your conversion rates 15%, you can get 15, 20, you can get 40 by manually writing the headline for every keyword. And obviously what that takes is a unique landing page for every keyword, which a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do that. If you just do the math, when your campaign scaled up and instead of making 50 grand a month, you're now going to make 80 grand a month because you simply had to set up some landing pages. Why the hell are you not doing this? I like that most people are lazy because I get to do it in the markets that I'm in and get the extra 40% conversion rate, because most people, even if I tell them to do this, they won't do it because they're lazy or they're arrogant and they say, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. But wanting to know, does this work? It absolutely does. I will go into the details on the case study we had where you could see the difference between manual and dynamic keyword insertion for having the headline on your landing pages match your keyword. Now that you understand that dynamic keyword insertion will typically increase your conversion rate 15, 20%, why and how it's actually going to be better for you to do the full-on manual writing of the headline and how we structure it at our firm to get those kind of results. So before I do that though, I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guarantee PPC, a online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. We do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in their profitability that will essentially offset the management fees that we charge. We are the only agency on the planet who offers such a contingency offer, which to tell you something about the quality of the information you're receiving on this video. And the reason why we're able to do that is because I'm doing the key strategy on all the client accounts at our firm. And with that, I have 20 years of advertising experience to go along with it. So with that said, moving into the content here, I usually recommend manually created landing pages as Google can properly assess your position that way per keyword. If you're evaluating whether or not you want to take my advice here as to do it right, handwrite your headline for every keyword versus using a dynamic keyword insertion script via the landing page tool you're using or whatever outside third-party script you're using on your landing pages to do that. Now, to do that, and if you want the full results, you got to have single keyword ad groups naturally to do this. That is only one keyword per ad group in your Google and Bing accounts. Then you need to have lots of keywords. A lot of you guys know what single keyword ad group campaigns are, SCAG for short, where you create a unique ad group for every keyword so you can have an ad for each keyword. And ideally with that, also possible with that, a unique landing page for each keyword. But they will not go the full distance with it where the real results are. And there's nothing easier to do in your business to increase your profitability than to set up single keyword ad group campaigns all the way like I do at our firm, and I'm telling you guys all the time to do on this channel, which I shouldn't, because then I'm just creating more competition for myself technically in some markets. So what you do is, a lot of guys will do single keyword ad groups, but they'll only have like 20, 30, 40 keywords. The real results come when you do like 400 keywords or 1,000 keywords. Why? Because the more keywords you have, the more closely matching the user's search term is going to be to the... So for instance, if you are in a market where you're offering plumbing services and you only had plumbing services and plumbing companies and, toilet repair and all that, and instead of that, you had 1,000 keywords like we're going to do, and you down to the level where people that are typing in super specific stuff like best toilet repair Dallas, and then as a result of you targeting that exact term, your ad can now say best toilet repair Dallas. Your click-through rate is going to be substantially higher in that case, and your conversion rate is going to be substantially higher because your headline is going to match exactly, not close, but dead on balls exactly what they typed in, and that makes all the difference. You're going to go from a click-through rate lift on your ad going from 4 to like 6%, having a few keywords. You can get it from 4 to 10% by having 1,000 handwritten ads. And I do mean handwritten because for all the same reasons you don't want to do dynamic keyword insertion on a landing page, you don't want to do it on an ad. I know this has been disputed before, but essentially, with that said, some people say that the dynamic keyword insertion on the ad, all it does is take the keyword and put it in the headline. That's not necessarily what I've noticed happens. They're going to put whatever the user typed in as a search phrase in the headline, and in that case, it's very unpredictable. It's going to put some weird stuff in there, and ultimately, people that type in long phrases, it's not going to be able to be put in the headline. Even if you thought all that Google does with dynamic keyword insertion on your ad is take the keyword, put it in the headline, it would be useless to use that with single keyword ad group campaigns. It's just going to take a campaign. It would only be useful in a campaign or an ad group with a bunch of keywords in it so that the keyword itself could be in the headline of the ad. And we'll help you a little bit, but not nearly as much in that case, like what I was saying before, 1,000 different keywords targeting every which variant of search that you want to show up for. So you have a laser targeted ad, certain variants. So dynamic keyword insertion isn't going to help you regardless of where you're at in terms of how that works. Then as you get to your landing page, you're naturally, by having 1,000 keywords, you can have 1,000 landing pages. So the headline on the landing page will closely match what the user's original search term was. So you're going to get a much higher conversion rate lift having the headline match the user's search query than just having something that semi-matches it. Now, again, you will get an increase in conversion rate having the headline say toilet repair when somebody typed in best toilet repair Dallas. You'll just get a much higher conversion rate if the headline says best toilet repair Dallas on the headline. The more relevant you are, the less the user has to think and question themselves, the more conversion rate you're going to get. That's just how it works, bottom line. I don't care. This isn't to be disputed. People want what they searched for, bottom line. If you're going to do it and you know it works, why wouldn't you want the extra results doing it the manual way, given you could hire a virtual assistant and set up a landing page for 1,000 keywords for $50. I mean, this is like retarded that people would actually say this is too much work or not worth doing. That said, I will admit that when the main drawback to single keyword ad group campaigns is that you're going to spread your learnings and your data across a bunch more keywords, and therefore it will take a longer period of time to build up adequate quality scores on all your keywords. That it does do. However, long term, you're going to make 25% of the money that I'm going to make with a campaign that's structured the way that I mentioned here. So if you need results right away or nothing, like you got to either make tons of money, at least get the profitability of your ads right away, or you're going to go broke. You use single keyword ad groups because you're going to make like 5 times as much money long term doing it that way. It's actually a ton more because once your ads and your landing pages have better click-through rates and conversion rates than your competition, Google's going to send you more traffic. They're going to charge you less per click. They're going to give you a higher quality user so that when somebody that comes through that's a grand slam prospect, Google's going to show your ad versus somebody else's that's not doing a good job as an advertiser because they want to encourage you to stick around, and they don't whether they go away or not. Yes, they do this. I've seen this myself for years now. And when you stack up all these individual benefits by having the better ad, better landing page from the single keyword ad group, setup campaign, going all the way with it, like I just mentioned, you're making not just several times more, but 5, 10 times as much money at the end of the day with it all. So if you have to make money in 2 weeks or you're gonna go broke, do a stag campaign, single keyword themed ad group, and you'll get results quicker. You just won't get the same results long term. And then maybe you could set up a single keyword ad group, a SCAG campaign to transition to once you start making money that you set up to run side by side with your stag campaign, and then eventually transition over to it. With that said, again, handwritten headlines. It makes no sense to try to do dynamic keyword insertion on your landing page if you don't have it in the headline, and you should handwrite the headlines. You're going to get higher conversion rates handwriting the keyword that the user types in on the landing page for the user, and you're going to get higher lead quality on top of it, because somebody who gets to your landing page that typed in free toilet repair and you don't offer that got broad match keywords on your campaign, so that when somebody types in free toilet repair, your ad triggers, they get to your landing page, they see free toilet repair in the headline of that landing page. Now you've paid for somebody to call, and then they're going to waste your salesperson's time on top of everything else, find out that you don't offer free toilet repair. You manned up, you pulled your panties up, and you basically created the campaign you needed to create from the start. Single keyword ad group, targeting each keyword in an exact match, and only when you've scaled exact match as much as you possibly can scale it, add phrase match. Single keyword ad group campaign with, the custom ad, or the custom headline on the ad is handwritten, and headline on the landing page is handwritten. You're going to get super high quality leads that way, because you basically guaranteed, especially when you add a few negative keywords on top of it, that your ads are not going to show up for anybody who isn't a buyer anymore. Of the people that are left that you actually want to show up for, you're going to get much higher click-through rates, much higher conversion rates. You're going to get more impression share, which means your ad's going to show up more. It's going to show up a higher percentage of the people that are actual buyers, like I talked about before. Google plays these games and favorites and all that. That's why you're going to make 10 times as much money doing it. So just in addition to higher conversion rates, you're going to get higher lead quality, because you're going to get less of the wrong people calling you. And then Google, once they see you're doing a good job and you have a landing page better than your competition, they're going to start showing you more. They're going to have you show a higher percentage of the time for the people that convert at a high rate. Your results are going to go nuts, basically. Okay? Now, with all that said, you don't have to take my word for it here necessarily. We had a crime scene cleanup company where we went from a dynamic keyword insertion campaign on the landing page to a manual landing page headline setup, where we had the headline on the landing page match the keyword directly, and we had enough landing pages set up inside our Unbounce account to directly line up with the number of keywords that we were targeting. Okay? Now, as a side, you may say, well, because people type in, they're always going to type in wild things that you can't Google. If you have a keyword that doesn't get searched enough, Google will say search volume too low in the keyword status, and you can't run it. So the keyword best toilet repair Dallas may only get searched one time per year, and therefore Google won't let you target it directly anyway, but you could target it with a keyword, toilet repair as a keyword, but with phrase match, you would still be able to show up for that person. Therefore, ultimately, when they get to a handwritten landing page, they're not going to get to a handwritten headline on that landing page anymore. It's going to be the headline for toilet repair, not best toilet repair Dallas, right? So therefore, wouldn't dynamic keyword insertion on the landing page work better than a manually written headline? The reality is, yes, that is actually a valid concern. More than half of the people, though, that are searching are going to be searching for keywords that you are targeting, that you are eligible to bid on. We're talking like 75%. The 25% aren't going to now, with a manually written headline, using a structure like I'm talking about and advocating for you to use here, won't get a headline that exactly matches what they typed in. But the other 75% will, so to say, and you're not going to have the headline say something that you don't do accidentally because the wrong person came through your sequence. So there is something to be said. Some niches, certainly, ways that people search for your product or service is so abundant that having a headline on a landing page that's dynamically driven would actually get you the best results. One example of this would be like industrial parts. You might sell 100,000 industrial parts, and having the headline match the user's keyword each time, assuming that one landing page content would serve them all, would be good because there's so many that you need to target for one, so it's a ridiculous amount of work. But more importantly, there's no way to create a landing page, if you will, for each keyword, and therefore the dynamic insertion is going to get you. It's going to be a better result for you overall at the end of the day. Most businesses, the amount of things people search for isn't that robust. Just to give you an idea, generally speaking, in 90% of niches plus, the amount of keywords we target is less than 1,000. Even when I'm trying to target as many keywords as I possibly can. And on top of that, and that covers 75% of the searches. So generally speaking, it's not that much of a logistical challenge to create a custom landing page for each keyword at the end of the day. I'm not going to care about the 25% that don't get a perfectly matching headline. The headline's going to be matching pretty close, but the 75% where it does match exactly, it's going to be a clean looking headline. Because the one thing you can do when you create a headline on a landing page that's handwritten is you can actually change, do you need to change the font? Do you need to change the line spacing? And make page look as clean as possible, as professional as possible. Whereas on a dynamically keyword inserted headline, so 25% of the people may get a headline that exactly matches, which it evens out. But the 75%, you can see why the overall best result's still going to be to handwrite the ad. Unless you're in a niche where the way people are searching is always kind of like different. They're always, there's no, like consistency to the search patterns in your space. In that case, a dynamically inserted headline could actually work. If you format things right on the page so that, a phrase that's a sentence long is going to get truncated properly, because that's where the problem with dynamic keyword insertion is, right? We're past the days where people type in toilet repair, best toilet repair. They're saying, what's the best toilet repair company in Dallas? And you don't want that in your damn headline, obviously, right? You got to be able to, and that's where the handwriting does so well. You can look at the term and you can decide what's the best way to do the term. Another great example, by the way, that's probably more relevant for you to hammer this home, is toilet repair near you. Do you want your headline to say toilet repair near you, where you look like a marketing bot? The most common search in a local search market for a local service is going to be the thing and then near me. Toilet repair near me, foundation repair near me. And if somebody types in toilet repair near me, when they get to your landing page, if your landing page headline says toilet repair near me, it's going to look like it was software generated, and it's going to make people lose trust and therefore work against you, lower your conversion rate versus raise it, where if a human is writing the headline, they don't have to verbatim copy exactly what they want in the headline. They can say, what's the best way to phrase this so it's close to what the user wanted, but look like a human still did this. And what we do in that situation exactly is, it's for toilet repair near me as a search, we'll have the headline say toilet repair near you in Dallas area. So it looks natural. That's the same reason why you want the headline on your ad to be handwritten as well, so it looks natural. So with that out of the way, and with that said, we had a crime scene cleanup company who started out with dynamic keyword insertion on their landing pages, and then we upgraded that to manual for each keyword, okay? With that, this was through a new campaign that we set up. So we did have a few more keywords that we targeted with custom ads, custom landing pages and all that. But what I wanted to speak on mainly here is what the difference in conversion rate was going from dynamic keyword insertion in that specific niche market to manual headlines. And the difference there was we went from an 8.6 conversion rate through dynamic keyword insertion on the landing pages, and just by switching to manual headlines, we went from 8.6 all the way up to a 12.9% conversion rate. A massive increase in conversion rate, just not using dynamic keyword insertion and writing a custom headline for each page, given that the headline on each page is it's going to look clean, it's going to make sense, because sometimes we're going to tweak it a little bit, like with that, near me search thing, like I mentioned a bit ago, and it's not going to have nonsensical stuff in there, which is basically saying the same thing as I just said. But with that said, what did the ROAS on our campaign do then once we switched over to this? Granted, a lot of these people that were using dynamic keyword insertion that were coming through, they were the wrong lead. There wasn't a lot, but like I said before, the other drawback of using dynamic keyword insertion on the landing page is the person that isn't qualified is going to see what they wanted, which is something that you don't offer on that headline, and they're going to call mistakenly And so more leads isn't necessarily better leads, obviously. So we went from a 614% ROAS increase or ROAS on our campaign that the client was running before to a 754% ROAS. And this was just after 6 months. This actually was going to keep going, but this was just after 6 months' time. I don't like to usually quote how much of a lift do we got 3 years down the road, because a lot of you guys don't want to think that long term. 6 months able to get that in kind of an increase, which ultimately equals to a 23% increase in ROAS, switching from dynamic keyword insertion headlines to manually written headlines. The reason why the ROAS wasn't even higher was because our cost per click went up, okay? And the cost per click going up is not so much to do with anything other than the new campaign, given that the quality scores take time to build up. The quality score is going to be initially higher before it's lower again when the quality scores build up on the new campaign. So if it wasn't for the cost per click going up from $77 a click to roughly $94, this would have, instead of been a 23% increase, it would have been like a 60% increase. Just to put that into perspective and to mention something about that as well. So as you can see here in a niche like crime scene cleanup services, you got a massive, massive advantage you're giving yourself using manually written headlines instead of dynamic keyword insertion headlines. Even though dynamic keyword insertion headlines in this space and this conversion rate is actually pretty decent. The average person in this crime scene cleanup space is going to get 5-6% conversion rates. I know because I've worked with several of these companies before, and so I can tell you for a fact what the other companies were getting before and without using any dynamic keyword insertion itself. But you can go from 5, 6 to 8 to 9 to up to 13 just using manually written headlines and then giving it enough time to kind of break in, because the main thing I also just want you to know is when you implement new landing pages and you switch the traffic on the campaigns you have now to a new landing page, it's going to take several months for the algorithm to readjust. But once it does, you should be able to get that 50-60% increase in conversion rate going from DKI to manually written headlines. And if you're talking about going from using one landing page for all your traffic to dynamic keyword insertion, you're talking about sometimes doubling the conversion rate. I mentioned 40% is the typical increase in conversion rate going from no custom headlines on the landing pages to custom landing page or to having custom headlines on the landing pages. That is average. Sometimes we're going to get doubling like we did in this particular case. Whereas this is not your typical, this certainly can happen and it actually happens quite a bit. It just doesn't happen every time, which is why I didn't quote that as the average. If you want to know how much the dynamic keyword insertion or manually written headlines is going to increase your conversion rates, you can always leave me a comment below. I can tell you pretty well based upon the type of niche that you're in what you will likely get. Or you can reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com and I can have a conversation with you about the topic and tell you what other opportunities are available to you, given that that's what I do for our clients here. And we can guarantee results for you and tell you how much we can guarantee for you in terms of increasing profits on top of what you're already generating now, or with a new campaign you're just trying to get off the ground. So reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out and let me know what you're doing. Furthermore, we've also been selling templates. If we worked in your niche market like crime scene cleanup here, if you're in that market, you would do yourself a huge freaking favor just buying the winning ads, landing pages, campaign templates that work for your niche market, copy, paste them into your account and get the same results we are. And then you don't have to figure anything out and you can just use the winning version. We've got people using these templates to start other businesses, which is like the easiest way to start a business is pick one of the 100+ templates we have available, copy paste the sales funnel that we have in terms of ad, landing page, all of it into your account and get the same results we're getting. As long as you're in a different city or country than our client or want to run it in a different city or country, it's all fair game to use it. And we sell that for a one-time fee. We've got, we've worked in over 100+ niche markets in the last 10 years of running this firm, so the chances are quite high. We've already got the results you're looking for. Or if you're looking to start a business, have something that will work right away for you. We got people using our templates to just start other businesses selling leads, subcontracting work out, pretending like they do work, but then just subbing it out to other people, which is an easy business to run. If you're looking to get into something that's fairly passive, or if you wanted to get into selling product, you could sell product like printer toner in a country that our client doesn't sell it in yet. and get turnkey results with it that you can easily get from China. Anyway, if you're interested in any of those other opportunities, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I covered a lot of smaller details about how to write your headlines to use with your campaigns. To get all the micro details about landing pages and what you should do with them to get these kind of conversion rates, you should subscribe to this channel. I talk about how to make money with ads on Google, landing pages, how the tracking ties in. And the information you're going to get is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week legitimately doing ad strategy and testing at our firm as my sole job, in which on the weekends I share what works for free on this channel. You're not going to get that kind of information, relevant information, from any other channel on YouTube for the most part. There's maybe like one or two that do this, because it's mostly all people trying to make money on ads or courses or whatever. They're not really running ads as their full-time day job. And you got to do that to know what actually works. And you have to run hundreds of campaigns to pick up what really works some of the time, most of the time, all this stuff. So it's the best information you're going to find, in my opinion. So you should subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, you should also check out my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has even better information than the channel, as per what a lot of the people that I've talked to have said, where the blog has actual step-by-step instructions on how to actually use the strategies we're using for clients that are firm to literally guarantee the results, with screenshots, with everything you need to use them. So if you like the channel and you haven't checked the blog out, you should check that out as well. But with that said, that gives you a really good idea on DKI versus manually written headlines. And in general, having keywords in the headline of your landing pages will do for you. So whereas it is a big amount of work to get set up and long-term logistically to manage it, which I'll state the downsides is if you ever have to change your phone number, it can be a problem, which really in that case it's not. If you're using call tracking, in your call tracking account, you can point where the number goes without having to change your landing pages manually one by one. But a lot of people who don't use call tracking, updating 1,000 landing pages to make the phone number update on all of them isn't their favorite use of their time, we'll just say. With all that said, if I laid out a case of 30 grand in front of you and all I said is you had to make 1,000 landing pages, one for each keyword you're targeting, you can have it as soon as you're done. There's no situation where you would turn that down. And that's literally what you're talking about here. So, and then, with that said, if you're stuck with what you're doing at all, I want to say that I've been coaching people at our firm as well to get them on the right track with what they're doing again. A lot of you guys are trying to get your ads to work, but you have bigger issues. Your website's not set up right. It might load too slow as one of the small things that you may not recognize. You're not able to make the ads work because of that, or your pricing strategy's off, or you don't have the right offer. Sales team is not set up efficiently enough. You don't have the lead system that you have that takes the leads in set up right. I go over all that with my clients, the way that I work with clients at our firm. And if you would like that kind of help so you can get to the next level with your revenue, so you can grow your business again, reach out to me in a 30-minute consult call. I can pretty much tell you what you need to work on next just by asking you a few questions. There's a lot of people that have really been helped by that coaching call that I offer. So it's something else that you should strongly consider if you're stuck before you try to beat your head against the wall making your ads work, when a lot of times the problem is it's higher up. So that's why I mention it. That said, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up with that. I appreciate you watching the video and hope you give the video a like on the way out, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said landing page stress was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.